All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a hullabaloo that has been generated by Andrew Yang announcing the 10 UBI recipients.
Wait, his big surprise.
His big surprise, okay? And we misguessed it. It was neither the gold chain, all right, nor the clock by Flava Flav the Sandals.
I cover for both.
Or the hologram we were hoping was going to show up. It was an announcement that he is going to give 10 recipients the UBI. Now, the reaction has been overwhelming to this. Some in the positive, some in the negative. Cody, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, well, without further ado, Andrew Yang did hype up his big surprise for the debate. It actually became just before the debate, maybe like an hour or so before. Anyway, this is what it is. So you can go to yang2020.com. You can actually sign up to win $1,000 a month. For the next 12 months. Basically a freedom dividend pilot, so to speak, with you. Now, a couple things I want to highlight in here really quickly is the language they use, because this is where we are seeing a lot of people who are not a fan of this choosing to attack it. So it says, win $1,000 a month, no strings attached. We are giving away 10 freedom dividends. Sign up for a chance to win. And all it takes is email, zip code, and first and last name. Assuming zip code just so they can get more idea of where the supporters are from for canvassing. However, now, for people like me and Mike Cardin, who actually think UBI could be a pretty interesting idea and might actually be a really good idea, we think it sounds pretty cool, especially following the Andrew Yang campaign, and also we kind of give him the benefit of the doubt because we like Andrew Yang. However, that isn't exactly how everyone felt about this. Now, I'll go through and highlight a couple things. Now, here's the first thing.
The left was eating him alive yesterday.
Well, it's not even the left, because I'll go and highlight that more.
The leftists, you're right, sorry.
The leftists, sorry, I forgot about that. No, hold on. So here's an article. I believe it's this is from Cleveland.com, but a lot of different publications are bringing up the same thing. I just happened to pull this one up, and it said, Andrew Yang offers to give away $12,000 to 10 families. Can he even do that? Now, one thing I want to bring up, I used to always say, well, saying he's giving it away isn't exactly fair. Unfortunately, that's actually what he says he's doing. He says we are giving away 10 freedom dividends. So, while normally I say it's kind of an unfair characterization of what the freedom dividend would be, in this case it's not. Anyway, they go through and they ask the big reveal opening statement. When you donate to a presidential campaign, what happens? They spend the money in TV ads and consultants. Anyway, I want to give you the money. He keeps going. Now, this is where it gets interesting. According to Yang's campaign, they're fully complying with FEC rules. So nothing they're doing is wrong.
Okay.
Fully compliant with all FCC regulations.
Yeah, I was about to say, this better have been double-checked, triple-checked, quintuple-checked by a million lawyers.
I'm assuming it was. However, I just want to bring up that there are people asking if it's even legal. Now, all I've really seen is former FEC commissioners, people that used to work with FEC. They're bringing up a point, though, that I have to say I haven't seen the full pushback yet. Let's see if I can pull it up. But basically said if it's just given for no work done, for nothing at all, just a gift, that is inappropriate. You can't just give cash, which does sound not that unreasonable to me, so I don't know. But the next thing I want to bring up, so there's people asking in the media, is this even legal? We can then go over and we can look and we can see what people on the late night circuit are saying about it, and it's not any better. But first, I guess before we get there though, Cardin, I want to ask you personally. I believe the Yang campaign checked in there with all FCC.
Yeah, of course.
However, do you see any kind of pushback or argument of like, well, can you just give campaign funds to people? Now,
big campaign, ones.
Their pushback was, well, one thing, let's get the pushback out of the way just so I make sure I have that. They said, we're not saying you have to vote for me, but it's kind of like a wink and a nod, right?
No, there's two huge problems here. First off, could you imagine a system in which a broke person could run for office and gain political funds for office and then just give that money to his son or his mother or his friend? No strings attached. She doesn't have to vote for me, but it still is a gift of money that was allotted for politics and a political campaign. Okay. At the same time, though, I think if he were to say, oh, this is part of a study, in which we are actually studying how in America my flagship proposal works, and it's marketed that way, I think you've got a little bit more leeway, because they will be following up with these people. It's not going to be no strings attached in the sense of you never have to contact us again. I mean, to a certain extent, I'm sure there's an expectation of at the end of the year saying, so how did it go? Did your life improve? Did my flagship proposal work? So there's this strange, we're honestly treading new territory here, because how do you justify the study of how a society should have a universal basic income that's an unconditional giveaway without having a giveaway. You know what I'm saying? It really is in many legal definitions just an unconditional transaction, which is by nature what? A giveaway. A giveaway literally means an unconditional release of a resource, money, or a product without any expectation of products or services in return. It is a giveaway.
All right, well, hold on. I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. If you had to guess, which major news network do you think gives Yang the most fair of all the major kind of media?
I would guess
leaders?
Fox News.
Okay, what do you want to hear Fox News' opinion on the Andrew Yang giveaway?
I think a lot of it depends on the pundit. Like if it's Tucker Carlson, they're going to give it a lot more deeper analysis.
This is
and
Chris
benefit.
Steyerwalt, who writes for Fox News.
Chris Steyerwalt. I don't know. I haven't read a lot of his stuff.
Like you said, Fox News has been more fair than other networks, correct?
I would assume so.
Well,
but there's also people
hold on.
like Don Jr. came on and said, "Oh, it's just all one big fat socialism."
But he doesn't work for Fox News. He's the president's son.
Okay.
Here is I think this guy running for president against my father's a great guy. You should go vote for him. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, this is what Fox News said. Speaking of performative candidates, Andrew Yang probably added to his cult following enough so that he will be around next month and maybe even the month after that. But he also made it clear he's not really running for president. We imagine he will have to wear a suit made out of $100 bills for the next go around. And then one more I want to bring up. And there's more to this, guys. Don't worry. This is from Yahoo. It says Andrew Yang's $120,000 giveaway is late night hosts laughing. One kind of neat tidbit from this article, you could tell Trevor Noah actually does kind of like Andrew Yang. He said, "Whoa, look at Asian Oprah over here," which is not really insulting at all. It's just kind of humorous. And he just kind of said, "I'm glad Bernie didn't say I'll give you healthcare right now." That was it. But Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert didn't, which I would say are closer to snooty media types than Trevor Noah is. Because Trevor Noah being a comedian for many years, Jimmy Kimmel now being a late night host for many years and a former comedian. He said, "That might be the most ridiculous proposal I've seen on this network, and I've watched every episode of The Bachelorette." Ouch. And then Stephen Colbert, I believe said, Colbert called out the candidate's hypocrisy for announcing a $120,000 giveaway. "Woo, daddy's got deep pockets. Vote for me and I'll make it rain. Shake 'em, ladies. I've got the cash," mocked Colbert. So we can see from Fox News, which is a Republican publication that has no reason to really unfairly represent these people because they don't care who wins. They think Trump will beat any of them. That's what I think. Saying that basically Yang isn't serious, which is what I was talking about the other day. People are saying this about him. It's not me. Other people are. We see late night hosts mocking him openly. We see some people asking, is this even legal, right? However, there's a different angle on this as well, though, and I want to highlight that. Now, I want to highlight a couple. Now again, these are tweets where Andrew Yang is the king of Twitter, but these aren't people of no consequence talking. First, I want to highlight this a gentleman named Alexis Ohanian Sr., I believe that's how you pronounce that. Co-founder of Reddit. I believe he still works as a C-level position at Reddit. Actually married to Serena Williams, so that's really cool. Anyway, he said, "Hey, Andrew Yang, I like this idea so much, I'll do it personally for those 10 people if you can't." Talking about potential legal violations. "We talk about the future of AI often at Initialize," plug this company. "Our nation needs to start exploring ways to adapt to the massive automation shift that's already happening." So we see one very wealthy, I don't know if he's a millionaire or billionaire, very wealthy, influential tech guy, which is where I think the divide we're seeing. And I want to highlight one other person. This is an individual named Justin Sun. He's pledging Yang's initiative to UBI 1K to 10 people per month for 1 year. I'll pledge UK to 10K. I'll pledge 1K to 100 people per month in 2020. I'll pick 1 to attend lunch with me and Warren Buffett in 2020. Hold on, first I want to highlight $1,000 to me per month. And that's a lot more money, right? It's like $1 million, I think it is. I'll let Yang assist me in picking the lucky 100. Join us. So before I get to you, I want to highlight, and I think we're starting to see this really clear divide, where just because, Justin Sun's a really big crypto guy. That's where a lot of his money comes from. I believe he also is currently he runs BitTorrent. But we're seeing from the more new money tech type, right? I think new money is actually a great term for him. Saying, yeah, this is awesome, man. I will put my own money into this. I agree with what you're doing. This sounds great. And just one more thing. And then we're seeing from the old money media types, they're looking down. They're mocking him. They're saying he isn't serious. I thought that was a fascinating divide. We see the new money tech types not even saying they agree, offering to put their own money behind it, where we see the old money media types, they're mocking him, they're saying he isn't serious, they're saying it's more ridiculous than The Bachelorette, and I think that's the most interesting thing I've seen in the fallout from this.
Yeah. I love it because we're finally seeing what conservatives have been saying for 10 years, that the media is corrupt and they're just pushing the establishment DNC. However, I do have to say it behooves Andrew Yang. He needs to adjust to this. Just like we were saying in the live stream yesterday that Andrew, you're at the bottom half because the media is not taking you seriously, not giving you questions, not directing attention towards you, but also half because you're sitting there very quiet and polite. And you're no longer paid to be quiet and polite. You're paid to be a politician. And there's a reason why all the politicians that are getting more airtime get that airtime, because they jump in. There is a craft. There is a gamesmanship to the game of politics, and you need to jump in. So I think Andrew Yang should have seen this coming. And I got to tell you, had I known, because there's been huge chatter amongst all the PACs and everything like that. Well, there's been huge chatter amongst all the PACs for about the past month that Andrew Yang... I'm surprised he only chose 10. I had heard that he was going to go for 48 other states, and he was going to have one family in every other state. And there was this big hush, and we weren't supposed to talk about it because it was just a strategic idea. And I wasn't sure whether or not he was actually going to pull it off. And it was going to get approved by the FEC. So I didn't want to, announce something that I didn't know whether it was going to be legal or not. Apparently his lawyers say, yes, it's legal. I think a wiser idea would have been to say, hey, my old organization, Venture for America, or maybe not even my old organization, because then you have the same problem that Trump had with his hotels. I would say a friend, or here's UBI advocates like the man that owns Reddit, like the man that owns BitTorrent. Justin Sun, I think was his name, right?
I believe the current head of BitTorrent. I don't know what they call him.
Okay, head of BitTorrent. So either way, at the end of the day, he should have had them do the money giveaway. Okay, because if Elon's down with it, there's a bunch of other mini Elons that are down with it, like these guys. Okay,
mini Elon.
Yeah, mini Elons. So I think he should have actually had them giving the money. Maybe on behalf of the campaign, almost super PAC style, just to avoid this, yet still highlight the power of UBI. Because at the end of the day, that's what I like about Andrew
Maybe that's the plan.
So yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying he did it wrong, but I'm saying I think I would have seen that coming. But that's only based off of my previous political experience with actual campaigns where optics are freaking everything. I have friends in elected positions. Okay. I have friends in elected positions that are so aware of the optics of things. They don't allow me to text them funny pictures and memes of like political cartoons that we're going to publish. I want no paper trail of any knowledge of this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a part of your brain that gets formatted once you've held political office just once, this understanding of optics. And I do think that showing something that could be easily mistaken as a giveaway is a little bit of a mistake, but it does get attention, and we need these people to be laughing about it on Jimmy Kimmel, because at the end of the day, only baby boomers tune in at night about that. While the new generation is saying, hey, let's give it a try. It really almost does become a generational warfare. A generational war. But anyway, Cody, I'm sorry I veered verbose on that one. Back to you.
I want to get back. So what do you think about what we actually saw here, where we see this divide, where we see people that are... Andrew Yang's been talking, I guess, this whole time, and I've been hearing it, and I believed it, but I think we're seeing it, where he's saying, look, people in Silicon Valley know what I'm talking about because they're talking about it. They get it. And we see, and like I said, I don't want to say they're
they get it because they...
And they jump right on board. Whereas we see other people, like I said, old money media establishment types, mocking him, saying he isn't actually serious, saying he's more ridiculous than The Bachelorette. And then we see other people saying, I will give you money. I agree with it. Don't you think that's a really interesting divide? And what looks like it looks like it was the establishment, but I think it's more fractured than a lot of people think.
No, it's yes, of course it's the establishment. I mean, come on, what do you think Stephen Colbert is? He's literally the jester of the DNC
what I'm saying is Reddit and that kind of like different? Because a lot of people say that all these big tech companies are in bed with the media, but then we see Reddit, who a lot of people would probably say Reddit prefers some media over others.
No, some
I've heard
big tech
that.
company. I was like, Google is.
But I'm saying
Google's absolutely in bed with the media.
My point
I'm not
is,
saying
though,
BitTorrent is.
My point is, these ideological divides probably exist, and we see them. We see where we see some people saying he's a clown, he's a joke, this isn't even real, it's not even legal. And those people saying, if it's not legal, man, I will give you the money to do it because I believe in what you're talking about. That it's a clear divide we're seeing.
But
I think it's interesting.
let them keep saying that he's a clown, because then he just becomes part of Gandhi's old saying that first they dismiss you, then they mock you, then they fight you, then you win. So first they dismissed him, now they're mocking him. As soon as this UBI shows that it's successful, they will begin to fight him, then he wins. As long as he can just not give up and go away. As long as he could just not give up and go away and keep gaining steam, I really think the UBI argument will continue to spread. This man is farming. Okay, he's doing two things that he is not used to. Actually, he kind of farmed with Venture for America. That was a very, piece by piece, acre by acre, bit by bit job. But he's really engaged in a lot of unglamorous work. He's trying to introduce himself and his revolutionary idea to the American people without coming across as a socialist and proving the capitalism of UBI. Okay, that's a very tough, unglamorous job. And as long as he keeps out of Trump's radar, okay, and he just keeps doing that, I think he will continue to grow and continue to grow as the others start getting trounced by Trump. And this is the reason why he went from being 13th when we started polling, or actually less than 13th. He was like one of the lowest statistically insignificant polling candidates out there, to being, what is he now, 5th or 6th? And you got to listen to a lot. I was listening to Glenn Beck this morning. I was listening to Rush Limbaugh this morning. I was listening to super liberal KPFK this morning. I was listening to all the radio stations while I was doing the first couple of hours of my job today. And I got to tell you, all the socialist channels and all the leftist radio were out there, saying, hoorah, Elizabeth Warren, ignoring Yang. But Glenn Beck had on two people who were conservatives who finally said, hey, who do you think the biggest threat is? And finally said, hey, if Trump weren't to win, like heaven forbid Trump weren't to win, who could you actually live with? And one of them said Buttigieg and Yang, and the other one said, yeah, Andrew Yang. Because he actually seems very pro-entrepreneurial. He actually seems like he's got smart ideas. And interestingly enough, they made a substantive argument against UBI, saying all the tests show that it doesn't work. I would have a substantive argument with them saying, hey, yeah, it failed in Finland, succeeded in Namibia. It failed possibly in Stockton and failed possibly in 17th century England, but succeeded in Denver, Colorado.
You also have to define what is fail and what is succeed for UBI. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
How do you define? Like, we gave them the money and they spent it. Like, by that rubric, it's always a success. What do you mean? The point was to give them the money, so they spent. You know what I mean? The other stuff is difficult. But I just wanted to kind of provide more thing. That's what you're talking about.
Okay.
Andrew Yang, we talked about this last night in the video, but despite speaking for the least amount of time in the debate, he gained the most Twitter followers again. And not just by raw number. When you look at how many he gained compared to where he was before, he was the top still by a large margin. So then when you factor in how many followers did he get per second spoken, it's even crazier, the gap. He doesn't have to say much to win people over. That much is true. However, I just did want to bring up, like I said, what we're talking about here, the idea that there seems to be a clear divide between how people are viewing this. And like I said, the stodgy media class elite old money types, they definitely have their opinion.
Yeah, because they want Biden, or they want Warren, or they want Kamala.
I don't even know who they want, to be frank. I just think, to be frank, I don't even know if these people want anyone. They just want to clown on everyone for views. That might even be what we're looking at. But like I said, the difference between laughing at him and then offering to throw your own money in to support him, I think is just a really, really interesting divide we're seeing here. Between two different types of people, like new money tech people and old money media people. And I think down the stretch, that's going to be the hardest thing for Yang to deal with. When it comes to both parties, I would say they still want to appeal to those. That's who they want to like them. People always want that. They know that, and that's how they run their businesses. So it's going to be kind of a not a war, but there's going to be a battle for the voter between the founder of Reddit and Fox News. I think that's a great way of summing it up, right? Fox News says he clearly doesn't take this serious co-founder of Reddit, says,
hold on.
I want to give you my money to do it. We're going to see those two different types
Hold
of
on.
media, new and old, clash more and more. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
The only person that has kind of dismissed Yang that I can actually not get on board with, but I can understand where he's coming from, is Chris Stirewalt at Fox News. Because we have talked about this for 2 weeks. That Andrew Yang definitely does seem like he's enjoying himself. And he did say on Trevor Noah, and he did say on all these shows, yeah, I'm really enjoying myself. And we have said our spider senses are quivering here over the past week or two, saying in multiple podcasts we've mentioned you're getting close to that line where people can start saying you're having too much fun, that it seems like you're not taking it seriously. And that doesn't mean that you should stop looking like you're having fun. It means you have to modify your approach. And here's a couple of things. I can see you have to make it so it's not so easy for people to lampoon you. So now when you come out and you say, look, there's an Asian man that wants to give away $1,000 a month, I think he needs to start saying there's an Asian man who wants to give an unconditional basic income of 1,000 months. That alone right there makes it sound A, more official, B, more governmental, something more that's a serious policy proposal. And then it needs to be followed up for paid for by a VAT tax on automation.
It's not a VAT tax.
What? A value added tax.
Tax?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Paid for by a VAT or a value added tax on automation that will give us a, that's capitalism that starts at 1,000. Like, you can get it into the same 10-second soundbite and just make it sound more official, because let me tell you, that's what us conservatives have been doing that have been talking to our friends about UBI for the past 6 months.
Okay, but that aside, just getting back to Andrew Yang and how the media has been responding to him after the debate, especially in response to his giveaway sweepstakes, this answer, out of all the ones, and I've been following the reaction, this is the one that has won the most ground for him for people who didn't already like him. Well, you got to win over, right?
My father grew up on a peanut farm in Asia with no floor, and now his son is running for president. That is the immigration story that we have to be able to share with the American people.
Not just in the crowd, online, that's the answer he's getting reactions for. Why? Why? Even though it's that is what politicians say. It's a great way. Like I said, we actually think stuff like this might be why he speaks so little in the debate. What he said about immigration right there was more emotional and moving while still having substance to it than like 5 minutes of somebody rambling, which is what everyone else does. So my point being, though, when he makes strides with this class, the media class, the old money, the people you do have to win over to win a primary, man. You can't just ignore them. They're in there. They're in the electorate. The way you win these people over, stuff like this. I heard this, the moment when he cried on stage about gun control, people loved him for that. And I think we're seeing it, man. But at the same time, I don't think it's to be overlooked and underestimated that there's people out here with substantial influence who basically are saying, look, man, I'm down with the UBI and I want to do it. I think he has a fine line to walk. And like I said, I'm not here to give him any advice. I'm just telling you what the reaction is. There's people who say he's a clown, and there's people who say, I want to do this myself. You're so right on. The people who want to do it this themselves, they tend to be kind of new money tech people. The people who say you're a clown, old money establishment. I think that divide's going to continue from what we're seeing. Maybe the reaction next debate will be different, but that's what we're seeing more and more as we move on.
Okay. So anyway, let us know what you guys think. All right. Let us know how you think Andrew Yang can actually overcome this optics challenge, or I wouldn't say optical because that would actually insinuate that he has a problem with his own optics. So how he overcomes this challenge of the political optics of testing UBI, because I really think he's going to need more data as time goes forward. The fact his campaign can initiate legally a study on UBI, I think is very, very powerful and should be done. But obviously he needs to make it through the minefield of optics if it's going to be successful. So please let us know what you think. If you haven't liked this video yet, please like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you have a chance to share this video with your friends, please share this video. If you want to contribute to the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description below, or you can buy one of the cool Problem Solver Politics hats on problemsolverpolitics.com. Either way, we're just happy to see you here. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.